Today we will have representative of Edson Gonçalves Duarte. That's our first speaker. And then we have Wilson Engelman, then Alexei Fuzezov, and Cristina Arroyo dos Santos. And we also have Luis Claudio Meirelles. And we have as the coordinator, Rosanna Humbert. First of all, why am I here? I am an agronomist, I'm a researcher, I'm a retired. I am with the Agriculture Ministry, and I work with Paulo that brought me to this team, Nanotechnology, since 2004, specifically in the relations between agriculture and nanotechnology. Without much further ado, let's invite Edson Duarte, our representative. He's from Bahia. He's a pedagogue. He's a federal representative from the Green Party, and he is in charge of the Environment Commission. And he also authored a project that establishes the national policies in nanotechnology in Brazil. So, Mr. Representative, please. So please, you have 15 minutes. Good morning to all of you. I would like first of all to thank you for the invitation once more to come here to speak to you in this international seminar in nanotechnology. I would like to congratulate William for the coordination of the event. It is good to know that there are people in Brazil who are interested in debating and bringing new light to this theme. Paulo, it's very good to see you. We started over there in 2004, 2005 to debate this subject. And from this debate, we had this idea of presenting a project. Well, a project that would institute a national policy for nanotechnology. I would like to compliment Richard, our coordinator, and I would like to also to compliment all of you from Brazil and the visitors as well. I'll be very brief because I do not have much time. I'm not going to do any presentation, but I would like to make some comments about this theme and the suggestive title, because nanotechnology frightens so much the Brazilian Congress. I was thinking about this theme after all that happened in the debates about nanotechnology, and in reality, nanotech does not frighten the National Congress. The fact is that they know as much of nanotechnology as our cowboys in the northeast of Brazil know of robotics. It's not nano. What people are afraid is the possibility of creating rules, regulation, because they are very conservative, and they have a very, very important voice with the companies that represent the market, and the market does not want any regulation, obligation that may create some kind of limitation. The Brazilian Congress, it's important to tell you, I am the second time there. I've been re-elected. It's the fourth time I am the leader of the party. So how is the House? How is the Congress? Well, according to the the electoral rules enforce in Brazil. The result of those who are elected representatives and senators are usually the ones that have the most expenses. So much that when you compare the ones who are in top in terms of spending campaign money are also the ones that got the most votes. And here a campaign costs around 3 to 4 million reais. That's an average. It depends on the region of Brazil. And a senator must spend about 10 to 15 million reais. Where does it come from, this money? From their own pockets? Certainly not. From the voter? No, because the majority just needs more help and not will help a campaign. So this comes from the private sector. And there is a dispute to know which sectors of our economy will have the largest number of representatives. And they're there, of course, to represent this interest. So every project that's presented there that may create a type of restriction, obligation, or rule, of course, they would say no. And that's what exactly happened to our project. Because when they learn about this subject, I was so enthusiastic about this theme. People like you who are working with this theme, a theme that has infinite possibilities. So as much as I was excited, I was also concerned of the possible uses of this new fantastic nanotechnology. It could, the possibilities are good, but there are some problems too. So in 2005, we presented a bill of 5076/2005. After hearing a number of scientists and people from the area, we created this bill to create laws about nanotechnology with foment to research, technological research. This was important because we are trying to stimulate, especially for the public institutions, so that they could develop nanotechnologies and nanoprocesses and nanoproducts at the same pace, or at least to try to follow the same initiative as it happens in the private initiative. But it also established a few rules and follow-up and safety concerns for this activity within the Brazilian territory. So when we presented this project, in terms of the size it was shown, and of course the projects when they come to the house, it never goes out the same way as it came in. So what's important is that you present the bill so that the Congress may debate the subject. And not only the Congress, because when the subject is being discussed in the Federal Congress, we also talk about the federal government, its agencies, its technicians, and the debate, therefore, happens in all of the spheres in the country. But unfortunately, this debate didn't happen because they said, no, we don't want to debate the subject. Not even to debate, not even to talk about it. And I'll read a few excerpts of the reports. And after being rejected in 3 commissions, it was finally filed away. So, in general lines, so you have an idea. In terms of following up research projects, is there research? Is there someone working in the nano process? Any activities pertaining to nano would have a national register of researchers. It is not even to be public, but we needed a register with all of the activities that are being carried out in Brazil, in which areas, so that the public would get to know where Brazil would be working, in which area, and which areas we didn't have any activities. Because we know that it's important to have these initiatives to help the universities. And in terms of phytosanitary measures and safety rules and doing these studies. And in fact, was the greatest debate when we created biosafety laws that dealt mostly with the transgenic organism. And because of one issue, when they accused us we were from the dark ages, and because we were acting against science, no, we were actually defending science. Because what did we want? That any GMO, in order to be liberated to the market, it should present safety reports pertaining to environmental impact, pertaining to the people's health. So if anybody can develop a study to say that a product was developed, it exists, so there has to be a study. I know that the study is there, so why did they want to see the study to protect the safety of the public? And it was not for the public, because we wanted the technical commission for biosafety. We wanted them to have access to that information. And what did they tell us? We don't need it, because they had studies in other countries like the United States, and therefore we didn't have to carry out new studies. That's very ignorant what they said. Very, and this was a general issue to all GMOs, and in fact it's the only activity in Brazil in which we do not require a licensee previously. Because you see, even if you want to put up a small dam, you need an environmental impact report in order to get the license. How long do I have? Another 5 minutes? So this project that institutes the national policies in that matter, in nanotechnology, and similar to the biosafety that was designed for the GMOs, but it does not work. For me, this is like a club where the friends are part of it. So can you imagine, the Biosafety Commission did not want to. They are supposed to care for the health of the Brazilian people, and it doesn't work. This National Commission of Nanotechnology would help the government technically and consultancy for the implementation of nanosafety rules, to establish new rules and also technical opinions. This technical commission will be 26 members from the academic environment, from the federal government, for the public powers. The government would give guidelines for process, and it would also make sure that it was implemented, enforce labeling. We also have a project at the Senate for about labeling, and would institute a national fund for the development of nanotechnology, geared mostly for public institutions that usually end up not being able to keep pace with the speed of the market. And to conclude, I'm being very rigorous at time here, and to conclude, what we are proposing here, it's an obligation, in fact, of the Brazilian government. Every product, every science, every technology, the governments are there to create instruments to follow up, for safety, to protect society and the environment. So to debate is an obligation. So what we want are more studies. This is why in this project we wanted studies of environmental impact before these products being released in the market. And besides the development of products and processes to arrive to some products, we should do follow-up for safety reasons. And this should happen in the same proportion in terms of resources that are destined to the development of products. We should use the follow-up. We also defend a rigorous bellic control of this activity. This is why we believe that Brazilian government should discuss international rules about the use, transportation, of this technological material, nanotechnological material, we should participate with international conventions, or we should create international rules when when they're not available. Public policies to make sure that the society will be protected. We will expect the market to fulfill its role, but the market has only one objective, which is profit. If you don't have profit, then of course we have to have some kind of benefit to the society. Why do we have governments? It exists because even with the profit, it should benefit society. And this is why we should strengthen the public institutions, and the higher learning institution. And lastly, I have 3 excerpts from the reports that were presented by Representative Leo Alcântara, Luiz Irundina, and Duarte. These were 3 representatives in 3 commissions, the one of Industry and Commerce, Science and Technology, and Finance and Taxing. The 3 of them, from the federal government, they rejected the project because they all repeated the same phrase, Leo Alcântara, to say that to regulate increases the uncertainty of investors and removes the competitiveness of our economy. So based in this point, they do not want to discuss, they do not want to regulate this activity. But I would like to finish with saying that to see meetings such as these, fora like this one here, I think is very beneficial, very optimistic. I've already talked to some representatives. They're going to reintroduce this bill. But talking to Wilson and Paulo, I think it deserves a new chapter of discussions. And in fact, looking at what's happening at the federal government, because this is happening in the federal government sphere, and perhaps we have a new project, a broader project, improving a few things so that they can be reintroduced as a bill in Congress. But we cannot forgo discussions in this subject because this is something that is very important, and science will always be welcome here today and tomorrow.